What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with me, your host. My name is Chad Medved. This is my show. I appreciate everyone who's here right now. First thing is first, if you have not yet, please take a second to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. It is a huge help for me. Right now on Apple Podcasts, I'm sitting right around 187 5-star reviews. I would love to break 200. If you want to help me out with that and you haven't yet, please hop on over to the Apple Podcasts app, leave me a 5-star review with a couple of kind words about what you enjoy about the show, and that will be a huge help for me. You know, it's much appreciated. Thank you in advance for anyone who takes the time to do that and has done it already. It's just a big help for people like me. You know, I'm out here I'm in the trenches. You know what I mean? I'm climbing out the mud. But we got a good episode this week. But first thing is first, I urge you to run on down to the local gas station and bodega and grab yourself an ice cold premium iced tea. Today, the weather has been impeccable. I rode home with the windows down. You know, after, Monday and Tuesday, raining cats and dogs, it rained literally all day Monday and Tuesday. It was ridiculous. But today, it's just been ripping outside. Got out of work, wound the windows down, stopped at the gas station, grabbed a pint of the Diet Premium Tea, and I cracked that bastard open, and I was just jamming to some music on the way home. I was listening to a little Stevie Ray Vaughan. I mean, like, what more can you ask for? But beautiful weather, hop on down to the bodega and grab yourself some Turner's. Nothing pairs better than great weather and Turner's tea. Amen. But the reason that everyone is here this week, we got an insane episode. So, about a year and a half ago, I sat down with Ryan Peters, episode 97, for anyone who hasn't listened to that one yet. I would suggest you hop on back to that one, and you'll be able to learn about who Ryan Peters is, how he became a chef, and kind of a backstory of him. We don't dive too deep into that on this episode. If you want to learn about him, where he kind of got started, check that episode, 97. It's a great one. But to put this into perspective, a year and a half ago, whenever I started following Ryan Peters on Instagram, he had about 8,000 followers. Right now, he's sitting around 45,000 followers. I know that, it doesn't really matter how many followers people have, but you'll understand why I'm making these references. So Ryan was a chef who had his own spot at one point, and then after, that kind of dissolved, he was working at other places. And then, he started to head the pasta program at Ironborn Pizza. So for anyone that has Ironborn, or that has had Ironborn in the Strip, you know that it's just absolute fire. Ryan was the one who headed the pasta program there. He's been working there all through the pandemic. But during the pandemic and even before, Ryan has had an insane passion for pasta. This dude is whipping up the most insane looking noodles, the most pristine shapes of noodles. It's absolutely ridiculous. So during this time of him working at Ironborn and, working a full-time job and becoming a dad and doing all the shit that everyone has to do, this dude is putting another full-time shift of hours into creating content for social media. He's trying to build up he's not trying anymore. He already did. Ryan Peters built this social media brand, and, since he's been doing this, some crazy shit has just happened. He has actually been able to step away from Ironborn and do content creating full time. This dude is a legitimate full-blown TikTok superstar. He's big deal on Instagram for sure, but on TikTok, he's like, any other of them insane, crazy, popular influencers you see. This dude got 2 million followers on TikTok. Sorry. Definitely two different things, but Ryan got 2 million followers on TikTok, and it's pretty insane because I watched this all happen in real time. You know what I mean? He started TikTok back, a couple years ago. And then, I watched him build his Instagram, and then out of nowhere, he just started blowing up on TikTok. And we talk all about it this week. We sit down, we talk about, pasta and how that's progressed over the last year and a half, all the new things he's doing with it, his new tools that he has, his goals, his hopes and dreams with pasta. But we also dive into the whole world of TikTok and the influencer lifestyle, because that's basically what Ryan is. He was able to quit a full-time job that, he was working for someone else to be his own boss, creating things for social media. Absolutely insane to talk about. So we get into like everything. We get into how someone plans out a social media schedule, how they plan out creating content, how he does it, like this is still fairly new to him. So this is all like, touch and go, but it's a fascinating conversation to hear about, because I've never talked to anyone who has that sort of, a community of that size. 2 million. It's insane. Some of his videos are getting 15 million views and shit like that. I talked to him for 40 minutes and his phone was flipped up and it did not stop lighting up. He was just getting notification. So we talk about the pros and the cons of being like a big TikTok influencer, overdoing social media, how to turn it off, how to separate it. And it's just a really, really great episode. So without further ado, episode 167 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with Ryan Peters.
Last time?
We did not have headphones last time. It was very, very rudimentary. Yeah. Is that the right word?
We're, you're on the way.
I'm on the way. I'm on the way. Because you hit it right here. We'll start it up right now. See, before you couldn't hear that.
That's pretty good.
Puts a vibe in, right?
I gotta use the telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. I'll call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. It's a game changer whenever people could hear the music.
It's nice.
Just sets you right in.
It's real nice.
You just sit right in. You
Sets
just
the
set
tone.
right in.
I like it.
But I looked and you haven't been on here since I think your last episode was in either the 80s or the 90s. I just looked this morning. I can't even remember, but
Yeah.
it's well over a year ago.
Yeah.
It was December 19th of 2019, I believe.
Okay. So like a year and a half.
I don't know. There's so many dates to remember,
I
but
know the past year kind of was like a time spin, Time didn't exist for a while.
yeah, it was weird.
Crazy.
The whole last year is bizarre to look at because
Right.
you're like, usually you could kind of think of milestones or just events that you
I
could
know.
kind of like date things to.
Right.
You're just like, God, forgot almost that like last May was like just us in the house.
It's crazy.
Usually whenever I reference stuff, it's from the previous year.
Right. Yeah.
But a lot has changed since you've been in before.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
The last time you were in, you were you were down in Ironborn,
Yeah.
whipping pasta.
We weren't even open yet. We were just about to open.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We were like a week or two away from opening.
Yeah, because they had the spot in Millville.
Yeah.
And then you guys were working on the pasta
Yeah,
for the
we were
strip.
about to open. Yeah. So
Damn. It's been a while.
It's been a crazy
A lot of
trip.
things different.
yeah, you could say that.
Now, I was trying to like think of, I think whenever I followed you in the beginning, you had maybe like 8,000 followers on Instagram.
Okay.
And I think that I was trying to remember. I couldn't remember how I came across you. Probably people reposting you or something like that.
I think I found you from Paul Family Farms. That was after that episode.
That was that.
Yeah.
That was that. Look at that. Shit's just coming together with good people.
I know.
Travis Paul. I hope everything's going good with them.
I love that man.
I know. He's such a, I love following them. And they grind.
Man,
I can't wait to
they're
get
good
back
people.
up there.
They're just good people.
I was supposed to go on that maple syrup tour,
Yeah.
of their spot. And then COVID happened. It like,
I know.
it tore my soul out, part of
You'll
my
go
soul
soon.
out.
You're gonna go soon.
I'm going to go soon. I know. But yeah, so like just opening up Ironborn, and now we're, fast forward, you're a TikTok star, which is, I don't even understand it. I made a TikTok like 4 months ago after you told me to, and it's just overwhelming to use.
I hear you.
When did you make a TikTok?
About 2 years ago,
Would you say you're before, the buzz of it all?
right when it was all kind of going crazy, is when I got it. My little brother, who's a college age kid, him and his girlfriend were out visiting us, and that's when like TikTok was blowing up, and it's all they were talking about. So I ended up downloading the app while they were here, and just kind of sat on it for a little bit, and then started posting, and we'll get into it, but things kind of took off.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bizarre to me because social media is so weird to me because it's so saturated. There's a million people on there.
Right.
And like, I mean, I guess it's easy to get like overlooked, I would assume.
Right.
But I don't know. You're just out here killing it.
Yeah, I didn't expect any of it. Like literally my life is turned upside down in the past year. I mean, since we talked last, it's been crazy. All good things, but just not what I
Unexpected.
expected. Yeah, it's been crazy.
So, I mean, in your mindset of whenever we talked last time, you had the idea, I'm going to work at this restaurant and, pretty much just forefront their pasta.
Right.
And like, that was the plan, right? Like, did you have a plan of what you wanted to do?
I mean, the plan was to, help out there, start the pasta program, and then eventually move on and open up like my own pasta, restaurant or something. But like, I mean, I wasn't planning on leaving Ironborn, anytime soon or anything. It wasn't like, it was just like, future goal.
Yeah.
But I was planning on being at Ironborn for a little while and seeing them develop and everything. And then obviously, with the pandemic hitting, that really changed things too. And then things just kind of started falling into place.
Yeah. For someone who is like, kind of higher up in a restaurant, like what was that like for you guys there? Like, did you see like a crazy halt of, I mean, obviously people were closed, but
Right.
I know you guys were hustling takeout for a while.
Yeah, we were lucky there because, pizza by itself alone is like takeout already. People are already doing that. So we were kind of set up for success. And right when everything kind of shut down, we never shut down there. We stayed open from the beginning. Obviously lost a lot of staff, but I was still there and Pete and the rest of the management team and everything, we were all just kind of like running around like crazy, just slinging pies.
Kind of figuring out how things were going to unfold.
Yeah. And then obviously it kind of mellowed out a couple weeks in. But yeah, I mean, it never really slowed down. If anything, it got busier.
Did you now this is something I was real curious about. Like usually people look at a place and that's known for pizza, they're going to order pizza.
Right.
It's like your pasta, did you see any drop off with takeout because of that?
Yeah, we didn't. I mean, right when it began, we took pasta totally off the menu when the pandemic hit.
Oh yeah.
We just kind of had to because one, we didn't have the staff.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more labor intensive than the pizza. Pizza's a lot easier. You kind of put it in the oven and that's it. Pasta, you're working it on the stove and all that kind of stuff. So
That's a good point.
it just didn't make sense. And too, like pasta is like notorious for not being good,
Yeah, like during
for
takeout.
takeout, it just doesn't hold up as well. So, eventually we kind of brought some things back as like a take and bake option, like people take it home, pop it in their oven.
Yeah.
And then as things kind of progressed too throughout the year, we brought back a few more items, and at this point now they're back and running everything full steam.
Such an interesting idea to think about how restaurants that have takeout, like food is not designed to be takeout food, and like how that can compromise your dish as a patron. Some people might go to a place and have X, Y, or Z, and they get it, and it's presented nicely, it's built up nicely. Things are, all the accoutrement works together, but it's like if you're getting takeout, shit has to be like separated, and it's kind of like, I don't know, it was such like a weird thing to hear about, like Matt talk about it at Streets and everything, and like how that was even like an idea, and like how people, everyone was dealing with this pandemic, as a world. So whenever you would get like the bad reviews or something like that, just because like, you might have had something cold from your Grubhub. It's like, bro, give us a fucking break.
Yeah. I mean, everybody kind of had to pivot at the same time, and all these restaurants that normally don't do takeout all of a sudden have to
figure out
their
how
whole menu to take out and figure out the best way to do it and still put out a good product and still represent their, establishment the right way. So,
and still try to get money while they're doing it.
And,
I mean, enough money that they could, make some shit still happen.
Yeah, it's, I feel for all the restaurants that had to really pivot. Luckily, like I said, Ironborn was set up for it already, but so many restaurants weren't.
Yeah, it was because Anthony Badama was the first interview I did after the pandemic.
Okay.
And I remember talking to him about it and about how he was like, honestly, dude, we were lucky because, that north side spot was like built as a takeout spot.
Yeah.
And like how he was saying pizza is just like easy because, I mean, I would say more people take out pizza than they would eat inside, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's the ultimate takeout food. I mean, when people think of takeout, it's pizza night. So
It's a good point. It's interesting.
yeah, and it's easy, it's quick, it's pretty affordable. So
Now, I think another interesting aspect of the pandemic, it's like for me, I tried to think of like a silver lining.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it's all terrible, but
Yeah.
you know, you want to find the good in things, glass half full. It gave a lot of people time to dive into just random shit and like get deep into it. Like I was slinging sourdough and like all that wild stuff. But for you who you already had, you know, your ball in the game for pasta. It's
Right.
like you had all this free time now after that. I mean, you can't go out nowhere.
yeah. So things just kind of
Is that what you did during your time, was just work on content and everything?
it pretty much turned into that. You know, I was obviously still working at Ironborn, but besides that, like I wasn't going out to eat. I wasn't, you know, going out doing shit. So, and now I had the start of this new following that, you know, it just kind of had to put out content and grow my brand and establish myself out there. So yeah, it was pretty much every day, just, you know, slinging out new videos, making new stuff, trying to be creative at it and just building the brand up.
Now, whenever you made this Instagram and I said that I you know, we started to follow each other, you had 9,000 followers.
Right.
Okay. With that 9,000 followers, like, did you have a lot of engagement or?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been, you know, really big into social media. I haven't always been great. Like, not that I haven't been great at it. It's just like, I always tell people, like, it seems like sometimes this happened was like an overnight success type thing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. Like, I've been working hard on social media for like 6 years. Just
Yeah,
trying to-
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, it's finally like clicking.
How did that start? How did that first initial following even start? I feel like I asked you about this before, but I can't
it just
remember.
kind of happened organically. I mean, I just always tried to get really good pictures of all the food that I, you know, create
Yeah.
and everything.
Like hashtags? Did you work off hashtags, do you think, at all?
Yeah, I definitely did in the beginning. Like in the beginning too, I was like kind of cool. Like when I was working in restaurants, not even doing pasta, I got involved in like some like big like food media companies, you know, that are out there that have like, you know, millions of followers, and like having them like repost my stuff. And it's like, oh shit, there's, you know, a couple hundred followers, and that like,
That makes sense.
that shoots my stuff up there. So that was big in the beginning, especially too, because like the people that follow me from that kind of stuff, it's like real people that like are into food and want to engage in that type of stuff.
Yeah, not just like fake ass accounts that are just
Right, that are just followers for the number, and
Yeah.
you know, it just does more, you know, harm to your account than anything. So yeah, that kind of how I grew up from the beginning, and then once the whole pasta thing started, that's just, it took a totally different road.
And that, I mean, like the pasta stuff is what you could attribute to all this.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
is it? Can you kind of like, you know, is it from the eggs? You know, in the beginning,
It's got to be.
was that like your first? Did you tell me that was like one of your first viral posts where it like kind of went crazy?
I mean, it's one of the early ones. I mean,
So for people that don't know what this is, I mean, this is a pile of flour
yeah,
that you have a bowl that you compress into it,
right.
and then how many eggs you crack in there? It all ranges. Some of them have
ranges.
a fucking 100. It looks like in there.
Yeah, the biggest I've ever done is like 180.
180 eggs in one pile.
Yeah, but normal. I mean, on a normal, at least once a week, I'm doing like 80 to 100 egg batch.
How many like how many eggs does it take to make a pound of? Do you ever just make 1 pound at a time?
Not really.
Yeah.
I just, because I'm like, you know, always testing different things and everything. It's just easier to make bigger batches. And then,
So like, what's a batch that you make?
like a normal batch is like 60 egg yolks.
But how much pasta does that make? Does that yield at the end?
That's a great question. I don't ever actually weigh it or anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't.
Oh wow, I would think it was like very, very like precise, almost like baking.
I mean, I'll weigh out the portions and everything, but sometimes it just gets so skewed because I always have so much.
Yeah, that's a good
pasta in my
point.
house, you know, it's just like I don't even keep track of that kind of stuff anymore.
So, I mean, one of the questions. So I put that on the story.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
what are the questions that you want to know about Ryan Peters? And someone said where you get all them yolks.
Yeah.
Where's your egg? Who's your egg plug?
So I go to Whole Foods. I use two different companies, Vital Farms and Pete and Jerry's.
These are egg companies.
Yeah, they're commercial companies, but in my opinion, they're the best, like consistently, like really great yolks that you can get on like a commercial level.
Now-
like obviously, if you go to like a small farm or something, you're probably going to find some really great eggs.
Yeah.
But for like the amounts that I'm needing and like a consistency level, that's the way to go.
So, as someone who is a cultivator of delicious pasta, I mean, that's something that you're you take into consideration is the type
Absolutely.
the type of egg and like, the entrails of the egg. Like, I mean, is that a big deal for you?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like I tell people all the time, pasta is so simple, right?
Yeah.
Like it's at its core, it can be just flour and water or
Been
flour
doing it
and
forever.
eggs. But like, if you're going to have just something so simple that's just a couple ingredients, make sure that it's the best ingredients you can get. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
simple.
Obviously, I could make it with really shitty flour and really shitty eggs, but it's not going to be as good if I use really great flour and really great eggs, right? So like, my costs are low, so why not use the best I can get?
Yeah, because it's really not that much of a difference. If you get the cheapest egg you can get at Giant Eagle is like what, maybe 89 cents. The
Right.
most expensive is what, $4.50 or something. And that's like
Right.
That's like just a dozen. But if you're buying like,
Right.
more at a time, it's
worth it.
It's definitely going to be worth it. What kind of flour do you use?
It ranges just because. So I do like regular, like the flour and egg sheeted pasta, and then I
Yeah.
also do extruded pasta, like the stuff that comes out of the machine.
Yeah, I guess that's all different.
Yeah,
huh?
it's very, very different. So like the stuff out of the machine, that's semolina flour, versus like the flour and egg pasta is a 00 flour. It's very, very fine. So it really just depends. And then also too, you can get into like cutting with different blends and just, going into all different crazy kind of tangents of playing around with different flours.
That's interesting to think
Yeah.
about because, I mean, I know that just from the very, very little bit of experience with bread is like you can get as wild as you want with it, get as exotic. They make all these different kinds.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, for you to kind of develop this pasta, I'm sure now you're pretty consistent with how you make it.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get consistent from, when you started to where you are?
I mean, I'm pretty consistent now, but it's still like an everyday thing,
Yeah,
trying to work
touch and
things
feel.
out. But probably like about 6 months ago, I started to really like find what I was happy with like the product and everything. But even now, like I'm still tweaking it every day, trying to just nail it down even more. But at a base level, I have it down pretty well.
Yeah. It's, I mean, like, so your initiation to like wanting to start to make pasta, it's like, where did that even come from? It's like, how did you want to like focus that? And I know that we kind of brushed on this in the beginning,
Right.
or I mean, the last episode, and people were more than welcome to go listen to it. There's a lot of great shit in that, but just to jump on that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was about, probably like 2.5 years ago, maybe even closer to 3 years now. I was just making pasta at home for my wife and I, and made a batch of pasta, and it turned out fucking awesome. Like just
Better than anything
Just
you
a
got.
really great batch of pasta,
Yeah.
it was just great. So I ended up making it again the next night. And then for like 64 days in a row, I have notes in my journal.
You wanted to make a pound.
I made a pound of pasta every
I remember
night.
you telling me that.
I
Gave me
got
chills.
crazy over it, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of started this whole like shift in my career to like really being really passionate about pasta. I mean, obviously, I've always enjoyed pasta. Like everybody enjoys pasta.
Well, I mean,
right?
yeah, you were a chef in the beginning. You obviously
Yeah.
have a deep appreciation for food.
Of course. But I never was like, this is what I want to do. But after that, it like, I just really fell in love with it and was like, "All right, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to focus on. Which I think is important too. Like as a chef, I think there's so many different ways that you can go. Mm-hmm. And I think not everyone has to, but it's nice when you can find something that like is your thing, right? Like it's something that you're really passionate about because there's so many different cuisines and so many different
Yeah.
foods out there. So to find something that you can really focus in on, it's kind of special.
I loved, so, like I have a lot of self-reflection in my later years. Okay.
Right.
And, I tend to find myself thinking of, just the way I used to think about life.
Sure.
And I remember going to places and looking at a menu and seeing 1,000 things and loving it because there were so many different options.
Yeah.
But then during the pandemic, I got kind of deep into Gordon Ramsay, and I saw Gordon Ramsay rip up like a few menus where he's like, why do you have 7 pages worth of this shit? He was
Right.
like, find what you're good at and just do that. He was like, why are you spreading yourself so thin? You got to buy all these things. You got to have all this shit there just in case one person orders a fucking, whatever, Scotch egg or some shit
Right.
like that whenever you're a
Right.
pizza place.
Yeah.
It's like, and it kind of made me think about that it made me think about life in a different way, kind of, because it's like, you can kind of you can just keep going and keep going and keep going, spreading yourself so thin, but it's like, why not focus and like kind of hone in your, what you're passionate about and what,
Yeah.
if you're going to get really, really good at it, it's just going to be better.
Right. But at the same time too, like I get it. Like it's hard as like a young cook. I remember when I was starting out, like everyone's trying to find their lane.
Yeah,
And
what
it's
they
tough.
like.
Like it's so tough because there's so many like fun things to cook. Like obviously now I make pasta every day, but like I love cooking all kinds of shit. It's
Yeah.
just like pasta is what I really, really love. So it's tough to find that thing, but I think once you find it, you just kind of got to go into it.
Well, that's the line right there is
Right.
the people that could notice when they found it and when
Absolutely.
they could, kind of just put the blinders on.
Yep.
Not that's a negative connotation to that term, but
No, I hear what you mean.
Yeah, but I mean that's definitely what you're doing. I mean,
Yeah.
you're out here with you got the industrial. Is that an industrial sized pasta extruder at your house?
Yeah, it's the smallest industrial size you
Yeah,
can get.
but it's definitely bigger
yeah,
than
oh, yeah.
anyone's grandmother has.
Right. This thing is it's
What's
a
the
monster.
brand?
Arco Baleño.
I didn't even know how to say it before. That's why I didn't.
Yeah,
try
so
to-
they're based out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
really.
Yeah, it
I
was-
saw you make a trip up there.
yeah. When it got delivered, it came like on a pallet to like my house in Lawrenceville.
Is that just a regular plug right in?
Yeah, surprisingly.
Wow.
Yeah. But,
That's such an interesting, just the idea. I feel like before I followed you, I really didn't understand pasta and like how
Yeah.
it was made. And I just would go and buy a box of orecchiette and,
Right.
and like kind of see it. But I guess I never really understood how the things are made.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why you go viral on Instagram and TikTok every day, because it's fascinating to watch.
You know, it's funny you say that because it's like a conversation I've had with a lot of like cooks and chefs that, want to get started on social media. And, I say like, I took it for granted as I was making pasta in the beginning. Like these are things that I'm like the flour and eggs. I'm seeing that every day.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that special.
Yeah.
But most people don't realize like that's a thing, or like the pasta coming out of the machine. So
Yeah.
like there's so many things that like the general public don't realize about food that is probably super fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. We take it for granted.
Absolutely.
I mean, the civilians take it for granted because it's like, it's almost like magic to us. It's like,
Right.
how did this person just make all this? But, some people are just more inquisitive, I guess. Not even inquisitive, but just like, maybe people just really aren't focused on it. And that's like
Right.
that's the beauty of social media. You can just scroll through and,
Yep.
see random ass shit. I know how to horse a shoe now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You ever see them videos of them
Yeah,
cleaning
yeah.
out horseshoes?
It's crazy.
Swear to God on my life, if I ever go to a place, I'm going to try to be like, yo, let me try this out, because I sincerely feel like I could do it.
Oh shit.
Now, for you to begin your pasta endeavor,
Yeah.
what were your tools in the beginning? You had your KitchenAid mixer with the pasta. Did you have
No, I had a hand crank.
or the hand crank
Yeah,
one?
I was like, and I still have it.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I have the attachment for the KitchenAid too, but
the hand crank.
there's something romantic about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I should have been using the KitchenAid one because it'd be a lot easier on me, but I just enjoyed the intimacy of just, you feel.
The big dogs talk shit on the people who make sourdough in a
Right.
KitchenAid mixer, because you got to get your hands in there.
Right.
You got to feel it.
There's something about it. So yeah, started with just that. I mean, I didn't have any like the big extruders or anything in the beginning. It was just flour, eggs, and rolling it out.
Now that limits what you could do, obviously.
It does. Yeah. I mean, I can't make all these crazy shapes. I could make a ton, but having the new machines that I have now definitely, changes everything.
Now, for you to get into, like wanting to kind of get deeper into all this, obviously you're working at a restaurant while you're doing all this. This is an extracurricular activity.
It was a second full-time job.
Oh yeah,
It's
second
crazy.
full-time job. So you would go to work and you would come home and you're still making pasta every night. And
Yep.
well, I mean, like, what do you do with it all? I mean, if you're making all this to like trying to fine tune, bigger batches, it's
Yeah.
like, besides for giving it all away, are you wasting any of this?
Nope. It's all, I mean, my neighbors get
Yeah,
a ton.
that's a good point.
Like a ton. Every time a new neighbor finds out that I make pasta, they become my best friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, friends, family, neighbors, it's crazy. I mean,
It's cool because, I mean, that's just like something, the best thing you could give someone is something that's handmade.
Right.
And like no one's making pasta. So you just brought me 3 of these bags of pasta and I could not be more excited about
Yeah.
these. Now, this one, is blue. You told me before we started recording, break this down. Okay.
yeah, so that's a blue rigatoni. No food colorings. I could use food colorings for a lot of the different colors I do. I don't. I like to do everything natural. So sometimes it takes me a while to figure out how to make a new color because I'm trying to find the right product to use.
Yeah. Like, so what is the liquid that you're pouring in there?
So for the extruded pasta that I do, I just do water. But for the blue, for example, I add blue spirulina powder,
Oh, wow.
which is essentially a form of algae.
Wow.
Totally flavorless in this aspect. No odor for it. It's just really, really great blue color. Which is great. And like spirulina is like a crazy, like good health food. Like it's really good for you too.
Wow. Yeah, because this is like a deep blue. Right. Like it's a beautiful blue color.
Right.
And like you just mix that together in there, and because I see that you on TikTok you got all these NFL teams fighting over what color team you're going to make pasta for next.
Yeah.
So it's like for you to, how do you even come up to make like I said we need a neon pink one, and you said you got neon pink. How do you make neon pink?
I don't have neon pink yet. I'm working on it. I wanted to have it done by today.
How could you even make pink dye? Like, do you just go online and try to find?
Yeah, there's got to be something out there that'll give it to me. I just haven't found it yet.
Like, is there people that have like done this where you're getting information from, or are you kind of like figuring shit out from? Like, how do you even? What do you Google?
It's a mix of both.
Yeah.
Like for when I first found spirulina, so there's green and there's blue spirulina. When I first found that, it was just talking with another chef friend of mine, Chef Priyanka. She's a vegan chef in New York, and she uses a ton of spirulina. So we were talking about something, and I was saying how I was working on trying to get a batch of blue pasta, and she recommended that, and so that was like, all right, now I can do blue. So it's just kind of talking to people, doing research, just trying to figure everything out. There's a lot of trial and error too.
This is, what is this shape called?
Yeah, so these two are the same. That's campanelle.
Campanelle.
Yeah, kind of like little bells.
Yeah.
And that's just literally just flour and water. That's it.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, it's a fun shape.
I don't know if maybe Whole Foods got them, but like, Giant Eagle, you get the straight pasta.
Right.
And then you got like maybe some elbows.
Yeah.
But some of the shit that you're like cutting out there, I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's so weird to see because all them extruders,
Yep.
It's like wild to me how they work.
Yeah, it's like I'm always like, it's weird whenever I get like new dyes for the machine.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you look at a shape or the dye and you're like, what the hell kind of shape is this going to give? Because sometimes it doesn't look like what it's going to come out to be. But on the back side of the dye, there's different holes that allow different amounts of dough to push through, and that kind of like for this one, that's how it gives that like curved edge.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, is there like an endless number of these shapes? Like,
yeah, there's hundreds.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I only have like 20 at this point.
What's your favorite? That's a question that was asked. What's your favorite? What's your least favorite?
My favorite shape?
Yeah.
Out of the machine or in general?
Both.
My favorite shape to make, like handmade, is farfalle, like the bow tie.
Oh, yeah.
That's just like, it was one of the first shapes I learned. So it's just like super special to me.
Beautiful looking too.
Yeah. And it's just, it's great. It's
farfalle. That's the right way to say it.
Yeah.
Not bow tie.
Yeah, not bow tie.
Yinzers. The bow tie pasta.
So that's like my top favorite. Out of the machine though, it changes all the time. Like right now it's campanelle just because I just got that dye. So it's been a lot of fun to play around with, because it's crazy too, because almost every shape that comes out of the machine requires a different hydration rate of like water.
Oh, wow.
So like these shorter shapes that have to get curved really hard need a lower hydration, so less water, versus like a spaghetti, you can push that hydration a little higher. So it's always like a testing phase to when I get a new shape to kind of figure out like the nuances of it.
Do you just mess stuff up in the beginning?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I didn't think about that either. It's like the hydration of like how it will kind of come out. I guess there's not really like I'm sure that there's like a starting point that you could find online, but for you to figure out how you want it,
right?
Like I was reading. Just doing my due diligence to talk, pasta talk. I was reading about al dente pasta today.
Yeah.
I was just Googling it, and now people. What's the other term? There's al dente, and then there's more. It's called like mota al dente or something like that.
Okay.
So it was an article from Bon Appetit where they were talking about how they were saying if you cook your pasta to your preferred al dente level, you're cooking it too long. And I immediately just jumped on it and looked at it, and they were saying, well, you cook your pasta or you boil your pasta to less. You want it to be less because it's going to cook in the sauce.
Right.
And I was like, it's fucking crazy. Blew my mind.
Then you get to the whole other aspect of it where with fresh pasta, you can never really get al dente.
Yeah.
Because it's not dried. Like
Yeah.
you're getting al dente with dried pasta. So like even this pasta here, I didn't dry it. This is just fresh pasta. So you're going to have a nice bite to it because it's extruded. But like that's why I think sometimes like just normal people, when they go out to a restaurant where there's fresh pasta, they're sometimes disappointed because it's a little softer.
Yeah.
They think it's overcooked. It's just not the case. It's just a different product.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Are you someone that prefers, what do you prefer?
I like both. There's some like pasta makers out there that are very against dried pasta. I'm not. I think that it serves its place. I like both. I think they're both really well. They both kind of serve a purpose. If I had to pick, I'd probably go with like the fresh sheeted pasta.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of dried pasta. That's kind of what I'm working on next. So
Now, I'm someone who prefers a softer noodle.
Right.
And my wife is someone who wants al dente. So
Right.
she thinks I'm a lunatic.
Yeah.
But, I don't mind, al dente. Or that's why, I just let her win.
Right.
Just make it however you want. I'll make it however you want, I'll eat it. I'm not going to complain. But that's interesting to think about too. So like, now what is a shelf life for regular dried pasta? Like if I just went and bought a box of pasta from Giant Eagle.
Yeah, forever.
I feel like you could have it for how long?
you're
Like
good.
15 years, maybe something.
yeah, you're good for. I mean, it's flour and water, right?
You made
So
this today?
yeah, like literally like 3 hours ago.
Okay, no big deal. How long is this good for?
Well, this isn't dried, so like you'll keep this in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
but probably about like a good week.
Oh wow, that's
yeah.
good.
Yeah, you'll be good. I mean,
Should I put them in the fridge right now?
nah, you're good.
They're good now?
Yeah.
All right. I might bust them on out tonight. I'm probably going to. I got some vodka sauce up there. But that's another thing. So people wanted to know your preferred pasta dish.
Right.
Like your preferred sauce, preferred noodle.
Yeah, if I had to pick a noodle, it'd be tagliatelle. It's just like very similar to fettuccine.
Yeah.
So it would be that with a bolognese. It's just like a classic like meat ragu. And nothing beats that. It's like my go-to sauce. I'm also a big fan of pesto though. I think that's kind of nice and light, but yeah, tagliatelle bolognese is the go-to.
I got some good. Those were good questions. I was curious about it as well. I mean, like because you have to eat all this stuff. I mean, you've definitely probably tried more pasta than 99% of the people that are listening to us.
Yeah, I've eaten a lot.
I'm sure you have. Do you get tired of it all?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's some time, especially too, like where I'm at now, of like creating content and stuff with it all. Like sometimes I'm just like, fuck, I need a break.
Yeah.
So I'll just take a week off, and that's kind of like the nice part of like working for myself now. Like I can do that. But yeah, sometimes it's a little bit much. Like it's just I'm surrounded by pasta 24/7, so I need a break.
Now I saw that you have like a like your main. I would say your main focus is posting pasta content, right?
Right.
So I mean, do you feel that you're stuck in this right now? Like, I mean, not necessarily stuck in the negative way, but I mean, like, if you wanted to just break off and like start posting some other dishes, like, do you think that would do a disservice to you right now?
Yes.
Why though?
I mean, I look at it now as like I'm building a business, I'm building a brand.
I understand that.
So it's like there's people following me right now for a reason. So I need to kind of keep supplying with the content that they're coming for.
Yeah.
As I grow though, it kind of makes it easier to kind of get off of the pasta journey a
people
little bit
ain't gonna
because
care.
people at this point are kind of following me. They're kind of getting to know me as a person too.
Yeah.
I'll mix in stuff with my son and everything like that. So it's like people want to see that kind of behind the scenes, more personal stuff too, which is nice.
That's exactly what I was getting
which is
at.
kind of where I'm getting at to now, where I'm able to kind of mix in some of that stuff and, put a face behind the camera essentially now that people can get to know. And that kind of opens up other opportunities too.
That's interesting to think about. I was talking to that Wake Up PGH.
Yeah.
And that's what we were talking about as far as, because he's not someone who was ever into social media.
Yeah.
So I was talking to him about how, it's kind of like weird for him to just, you're kind of like, people start to follow you with a certain expectation. And
Right.
I feel like some people might think it would do a disservice to like kind of personalize a little bit, but
Right.
I see where you're coming from. It's like you build the foundation up of
Right.
what people want, and that gives you a little bit more freedom to, you know, try things out. People, you know, some people are probably gonna be like, I don't give a shit about you. I just want to see these videos or something like that.
Absolutely.
But now it's like you can kind of establish yourself. You already got a following.
Right.
And so I think it's crazy, the whole TikTok thing. Like it's really overwhelming.
You're telling me, man.
I mean, it's overwhelming for me because, you know, I can't even imagine. We've been sitting here for 30 minutes. Your phone has not been lit up since
turn
we've
it
been
down.
here. No, I'm not. No, it's all right. I would have told you to flip it if I thought it was distracting you, but it's interesting to see that. It's
Right.
just like every second things are popping up.
Right.
Now, as a social media, I don't know, would you call yourself an influencer? I wouldn't call you an influencer, more of a content creator.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't refer to myself as an influencer, but
I think it's a negative connotation.
yeah, I don't like that term.
It's a gross term.
I kind of use the term creator.
Yeah.
I think that's more because I try to be a creative person. But at the same time, like I'm at the point now where I do
You
have
are.
influence. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm able, like I'm working with brands and they're
100%.
you know, paying me as an influencer. So that term definitely applies.
Now, since this is still kind of new to you,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like you have 2 million followers now.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
You're telling me.
Absolutely
I
ridiculous.
mean, I think me and you, we golfed last summer during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I think I was at a couple 100,000,
yeah, that was it.
which
And
again was huge.
I know. And we were talking about it then, and I was like, this is, you know, like I can't even understand that. And now it's
Right.
like 2 million is just like, it's just weird.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you post something and you automatically are going to get just flooded with shit.
Yeah.
Now, I know that that's like a blessing. That's like the main goal is to like, you know, be lucrative just by
Sure.
doing what you want to do and doing this type of things. But like,
Right.
I mean, there got to be a point to where it gets overwhelming and it starts to interfere with things, you know, because I don't even, you know, the podcast ain't fucking 2 million followers on TikTok.
Right.
You know, I got a couple thousand listens and shit like that, but my phone is an enemy for me. It really kills me to like jump on there, but I know that, you know, it's a double-edged sword because it's like you got to be in there, you got to put in that work to be able to get to where you want to be with it.
Yeah.
But, you know, how do you kind of like, you know, separate that with like how do you turn it off, because you have a family and shit like that too. I'm sure it gets overwhelming.
It was really, really tough. Like when I was at Ironborn and I was doing this kind of stuff too, that's when I realized like how toxic it was in a
Yeah.
sense. I don't know if toxic is the right word. It's just like,
Addictive, or not addictive, but it's almost like quicksand.
it was just so time consuming.
Yeah.
I was spending so much time, too much time, you know, between working my regular job and then that. So when I realized how, you know, bad it was getting, that's when I had to make the decision that like, all right, I need to make a plan to get out of Ironborn. That way I can have that
extra
work,
time to
that
focus.
balance between doing, if this is what I want to do full time, I need to make sure that I can balance everything out, because to do these both together right now, it's
Only
just
24 hours in
terrible.
a day.
Right.
So if you're working a full-time job at Ironborn and then you're trying to do this shit, it's like, and you
not
have
sustainable.
a wife and kid,
Right.
you know what I mean? Yeah, it's not sustainable.
Right.
So it's, I mean, it's refreshing to see someone who, you know, I don't think I know anyone who has a bigger social media following than you do.
Right.
So I never really got to talk to someone who has kind of dealt with that.
Yeah.
Because like I remember seeing one, obviously you're not Justin Bieber. I'm sorry, you're not. But one time I saw a video of him post like a picture with no caption or nothing.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was thousands. It went on for like
Yeah.
over an hour, just like banners coming up. So, I mean, like, I just feel like that's like, it would be overwhelming for me, but I mean, you're very active on it. I mean, like
Yeah.
those people are not even like, you know, commenting back or anything like that, but you are
Right.
like, you know, you're a person that talks to people, you go live and
Right.
I like how you do it all, but it's refreshing to see how you could like, you know, realize that this is like the moment. And I love that because it's like a lot of people might be scared to do it. You made that post today where you're like, you know, I am scared shitless still, but it's like,
Yeah.
I love to see that you like take the jump, because
Yeah, I
it's
mean-
like you're betting on yourself.
Yeah, and it was a huge risk to leave the restaurant to take this new job, if you will, that, you know, there was no security. Like I'm leaving a job with, you know, a routine paycheck
Yeah.
with benefits, you
Yeah.
know, for what? For something where I don't know when I'm going to get paid, how I'm going to get paid every week. I don't have benefits anymore. So it's like, is it worth it? I mean, you have to take that jump. And at least for me, like if it doesn't work out in 6 months, restaurants are hiring, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
it's a good point.
But I gotta take the risk.
Yeah, that's a good point. You got a good fallback. I mean, you're a great chef, so it's like if worse comes to worse, you start whipping in the kitchen again.
That's it.
But I mean, I would assume that you like this, that you like this more than, you know, working for someone else. And I know that like, I mean, you're cool with the Ironborn people and everything. And I know that everything was cool with that, but it's like in the end, you want to be your own boss.
Absolutely.
It's like, that's the goal in life.
At the same time, like I didn't think I would be my own boss in this aspect, if that makes, like, I didn't think that this was like, if when we talked on the last podcast, if you told me that in a year and a half, you're going to be a full-time content creator, I think that's nuts. Like, I was like, no way. But I love it. I wouldn't change it at all. It's just a really, really wild pivot.
Yeah, it's a wild pivot for sure. And you know, I feel like people always say like, oh, if you would have told me this in your, it's just because, you know, you don't know anyone that's close to you that's happened to. It seems so unattainable to just have millions of followers that just like people that just like love the shit that you do. Yeah. And I was just scrolling through your stuff and it's, you know, it's overwhelming to look at, you know, millions of views on videos of just eggs.
Yeah.
And it's such a simple video. It's I mean, just a photo, I saw the one video of just the cauliflower where you just poured egg yolks in. That's it. And people love it.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to ask you, why do you think that do you think it's a form of ASMR?
It's gotta be.
It gotta be, right? Something is like triggering in people's brains where they like seeing that thing. Like whenever I watch someone cleaning a horseshoe, why the fuck am I watching it?
Yeah.
But I watch it.
Yeah. I remember, too, it was an egg video that really kind of changed my account on TikTok. It was October of 2020. You know, I had the beginning of October, I had like 300,000 followers, right? And I was like, this is crazy.
On TikTok.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get to, how long before TikTok started buzzing?
I mean,
pretty quick.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't have like almost instant success. Like I got lucky. Like my first video got like 500,000 views in 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
But like in October of 2020, you know, like I said, I was at like 300,000 followers, which I was ecstatic about. Like I had no expectations when I made this account. So to have that was crazy. And I remember I posted like a video of me just mixing up some eggs and flour. This was right around the time, I know you remember it, when the Dream song, you know, was popping off, the cranberry juice.
Oh, yeah.
So that was like the big trend at the time. So I used that song and posted up this video. And I tell this story a lot, but I was sitting on my couch at home. It was like 9:00 at night. I posted it, playing Xbox with my buddies, and looked at the video 2 hours later before I went to bed at 11, and it had 2 million views already. I was like, holy, like that was like unheard of for my account, right? Like I was like, holy shit. So I went to bed and woke up with 12 million. And fast forward to the end of October, obviously, like when that hit, I went crazy for all of October, just like posting like crazy, like going nuts,
keeping it up there,
taking advantage of it. And by the end of October, I hit 1 million followers.
Oh, wow.
So like within 3 weeks to gain 700,000 followers.
It's
like,
wild.
Yeah. So that's that really blew my page up. And then spent like the next year just kind of really going crazy, going hard at it and building up that brand.
That is wild.
But again, just all from flour and eggs. Like it's nuts.
It is nuts. I mean, it's cool though. Yeah. I mean, it's motivating because, you know, I mean, realistically, not everyone could do this, but like, you know, people can do this, and it's cool to like see that. I don't know, dude. You're just a dude from down the road that I talk to.
I think too, like, I think it shows to the power of TikTok. Like, I'm a big proponent of TikTok. Like, I think that everybody should be on the platform because it's super powerful. Yeah. Like, I know tons of people that have like a following of nothing. They post a video, millions of views, and then then you're able to like, you know, do whatever you want with that, whether it's, you know, promote your business or build your brand or do it if you want to be a content creator. Everybody can be one now. Everyone has a phone, right?
Yeah.
so like versus like the other platforms, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, like it's just a lot easier to have that organic reach and just reach real people through the platform.
Why do you think TikTok is like more? Why do you think it's more accessible to do that in TikTok rather than Instagram?
It's like a back end like algorithm thing. I think just the way that it's built up for that organic like virality. Like versus like on Instagram, right? When you're scrolling through, it's all people that you follow.
Yeah.
On TikTok, it's not like
that's a good point.
Random people. So everyone kind of has that fair shot for that big video, which makes it a little bit different.
Yeah, I guess I never thought of it that way. It's like TikTok, that's already, you're just seeing the same people that you're following. And usually you get pissed whenever it's showing you shit that you don't follow.
Right.
But that's interesting to think about that. Now, for someone who is, transitioned into this like, creator, influencer, it's like, it's like if you get one video with like 20 million views, do you have people, banging down your door to give you money to post shit?
It's not, no, yes and no.
Yeah. But like one video could be, the start to something like that.
Sure. If you
play it the right way
on it, right?
Yeah.
Anybody at this point now, like social media is so saturated, like anybody can have a viral video. Like it's easy almost, in some sense. So like just a one-off, you're probably not going to get a bunch of traction from it. But if you have that and you're able to
be consistent,
right?
And people know that you're consistent and that you could keep getting these views.
Right. That's when you're going to start seeing like different deals come in and the money's going to get thrown at you for that.
Yeah. Cause like I see you obviously work with Truff.
Right.
And those dudes, like I've had that one time and that stuff's crazy.
Yeah.
It's definitely very good. And it's cool to like see that's, I almost cried whenever I was able to start saying that I could work with Turners.
Right.
It's just like, it's cool to see that brands want to, that they believe in what you do.
Right. Absolutely. And then it's just like for you with Turners, for me with Truff, it's just like a very organic thing. Like I was already a fan of their product, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like
you don't have to lie about nothing. Like, you're not lying. It's not bullshit. It's like I'm drinking these Turners right now, and it's like speaking of that, perfect segue, right?
Right.
So every time I have a guest on here, or every podcast, I do an opening segment called "What's in the Cup." So what's in our cup today?
It had to be Turner's Original.
Chopping
it up with Chad. It's got to be
Thug Jug of Turner's tea. I almost forgot to do it because that's just how good of a conversation we're having. So you jumping off, with Ironborn. Obviously, they knew that you were on to bigger and better things.
Right.
When's the moment that like this got to happen? I got to be done with this. Like, was it whenever you're, getting sidetracked with all the social media?
It's when when my son was born. So our son was born November 10th of 2020.
Yeah.
And luckily, like before, obviously, when we found out we were having a kid,
looking like a fine young man.
Thank you. I worked really hard to like put away money. That way I wanted to take a month off when he was born, which is kind of unheard of, especially in like working as a cook in a restaurant, right?
Yeah, it's fucked up. Men should have maternity leave.
Fuck, man.
Paternity.
Right. So I was able to take a month off, like Ironborn granted that to me. And so when I took a month off, obviously I'm, caring for him and everything, doing stuff around the house, but at the same time, like I'm still putting out content and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm making money. And like 2 weeks into it, I looked at my wife and I was like, babe, why am I not working from home? Like, this is it. Like, I can be at home with my son. Like, this is the dream.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing what I love.
In your own kitchen.
Yeah.
Barefoot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Barefoot, not having to worry about shit. You got your dog there. You know what I mean?
So that's when I made the conscious decision, like, I need to get out of Ironborn. So I kind of put the plan in place. We started kind of seeing what it would take. And then just made that leap.
Now, how did you, were you nervous to approach them?
Terrified.
Were you?
Yeah. I've always been one of those people though, whenever I quit a job, thankfully, luckily, I've never been fired from a job, but I've quit a bunch of jobs.
Yeah.
I'm always terrified.
Yeah. It's an awkward situation.
I feel terrible. And especially too, like when I left Ironborn, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Like we're hurting for staff like anybody else is.
When were you done there?
I finished in March or April.
And was that still at like half capacity?
We were at 25% then.
Okay, yeah. So basically, it's takeout because
Yeah,
like
I
you
mean,
know, you guys could
there's not
fit
much
what
tables
12
there.
people in there.
Yeah, there wasn't much. So yeah, I felt terrible for leaving. I was like, man, I know how bad we've been looking for staff, and here I am going to come in and be like, hey, I'm out.
Yeah,
But you know, thankfully they were all cool with it. They all understood. They all kind of saw it coming too. Like,
Yeah, I
it was
mean,
only
like,
a matter of time before I was going to leave. Like,
like millions of views on TikTok.
yeah, I had all these opportunities. So
They would be bad on it would be negative for them to have some ill will
right,
towards you.
right. So yeah, luckily it all worked out good, and you know, there was no reason for me to be terrified of it.
Now, just to be on that for a second, it's like, you know, you're obviously the pasta program there was your baby, obviously. So for you to communicate that to other people,
Yeah.
to be able to replicate that and to be able to create it on that scale,
Right.
You know, was that difficult for you?
A little bit, just because like you said, like that's what I was brought in there to do, and like
Yeah.
so my name was behind it. Like there were people in the city that knew that I was doing the pasta at Ironborn.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously a lot of people don't like any restaurant, like just because this is Chef so and so's restaurant doesn't mean they're cooking every night. So
Yeah,
like, just
they're
because
not
it's
cooking your
Ryan
dish
Peters
every
pasta
night.
doesn't mean that when I come in to eat, it's going to be Ryan Peters cooking my pasta. So like it is tough to like make sure that, you know, everybody knows like how to do it right and everything and how we all want it to be.
Yeah.
But like there's a great crew there that was able to do that. So it was pretty easy to kind of like let go of that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool because, yeah, obviously, you know, it's like the maiden voyage. You like set it off and you just want it to be
Right.
floating. You want people to be able to
Right.
get to where they need to be with it.
Right.
And I feel like that, you know, I mean, they're still killing it.
Yeah.
You know what I
They're
mean?
crushing
Had a pizza the other day. Or had a pizza the other day, and it was still fucking amazing.
They're crushing it.
It's cool to be able to see. I don't know. I guess some sort of like normality.
Yeah.
Coming back into the world. I
know.
I just got back from vacation, and it was just I saw live music, and I
Yeah.
was like, I almost teared up.
Feels good.
She was playing an acoustic Cher cover, and I was just like, I can't believe it. It's like you're looking at like stadiums and
Right.
like people were back in there. The UFC had 2 full
know.
UFCs
It's
the last
crazy.
couple weeks, and you're just like, it's like can't even believe that this
know.
is what it is. I don't know. It almost feels like we're in the Twilight Zone. Almost
Feels wrong, but it feels so good.
It feels wrong, but it feels so good. I
Right.
mean, I was always someone that was wearing masks, but
Yeah.
I'm vaccinated. If they say I don't got to, I ain't gonna wear it.
Yep.
I mean, because
Yeah.
you know we're out here.
Yeah.
Now, for you to be, you know, working from home and, you know, like making shit happen here, it's like, what is you know, like, how do you plan this out? Because obviously you have a responsibility to put out content.
Yeah.
How do you manage all this?
It's tough. That's one thing I still kind of struggle with, just because it's such a different like day to day that I'm used to. You know?
Like, do companies have expectations on how often you have to post?
Yeah. I mean, every time I do like a brand deal or whatever, or work with a company, like there's different expectations always. So whether it be like, you know, you need to post, you know, 6 to 8 pieces of content per month, or you need to have this piece of content out by this time. It's pretty chill.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's tough just to like manage, you know, doing sponsored content, doing my own content, you know, working on engaging with my community and stuff. Like it's work. Like I didn't think that like being a content creator or whatever, like was a full-time job, but like it's crazy.
I mean, it gotta be.
I definitely like, I thought that I'd be working less once I left the restaurant. If anything, I'm working more, but it's like, I don't feel as busy. It's not as stressful. It's a different type of stress, you know?
I mean, you're just doing what you love.
Right. And I can do it at my own pace.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, if I want to, you know, work at 2 a.m., I, you know, go down, work in 2 a.m. and, you know, bang out some videos, and I can kind of do things at my own leisure, which is nice.
For you to, I mean, I think that your quality of video that you put out it looks like a great quality video.
Thank you.
I mean, before you started this, did you have any sort of editing skills whatsoever?
You'd be surprised. I don't edit anything.
Well, I know that
I don't do anything.
That's what I'm trying to like, you know, segue into. TikTok
I'm terrible at all that stuff.
I mean, it looks great.
Yeah.
It's attributed to the app? You know, the app pretty much does what it needs to do?
A little bit. I mean, I think I do have a good eye for like good lighting and all that kind of stuff.
1,000,000% you do great.
Like I'm able to like have a good eye for like what's going to look good. Like what are people
Clear pot.
wanting to watch? Right. Like,
Clear pot all day. I was like, damn, that's dope.
right. Like it's kind of knowing that kind of stuff, but like from like the technology standpoint and editing and all that, like I'm terrible with that kind of, like, that's why I'm happy that I'm able to use a phone. Like,
Do you only use just one phone?
no, I use 2 phones that way to get like different angles and all that kind of stuff.
Shout out Kevin Gates. Do you just you bought a second phone or do you use your wife's
I
phone?
use my wife. She hates it.
I bet. Hey, let me borrow that for like 3 hours.
Yeah, she hates it.
You got to buy her an iPad with all your TikTok money.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, for you to like, obviously, I'm sure you started this out with one phone.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, how do you attribute like, your eye to that? Is it just from like following other content creators and like kind of see, like, do you get, creative, I mean, do you get some of your creativity from like what other people do?
I'm sure that like part of what I do is inspired by that, but I try not to let other people's like their creative ways influence how I think that's kind of what sets people apart, is like having their own, way of doing things.
Yeah.
Like every like food content creator specifically out there kind of has their own way that they put out videos, and like you see a video and you're like, oh, that's that person. Like without even seeing the content first, like just the first couple seconds, you're able to tell who it is just by the way it's lit or the way it's edited or the way whatever. So I think that's important to kind of like make your own stamp on things, which at this point I've done. But it's just kind of like trying out new things. Like if you look back at my early TikToks, like I was trying out all kinds of different things to see what would hit. And then once I found that, it's just kind of like doubling down on it, really like honing in on it, making it better every day, like upgrading things where I can, but just kind of staying true to that style.
It's I mean, just from me looking at it, I think it's cool that you got that hot plate with the clear pot.
Yeah.
You could kind of center it where it needs to be, because if
Right.
you're if you're on a stovetop,
Right.
You're kind of
Absolutely.
you don't have enough room to like move around there. You can't put a camera far back and get
Right.
you in there with the Penguins jersey and everything in there.
Right.
But it's cool to like kind of see how that like levels up.
Yeah.
It's cool to see people that that are like leveling up their own way.
Yeah.
What was I just going to say? Do you, are you someone who's like real into like the analytics of things? Like, are you always like checking posts and seeing what does better, what does worse?
Not as much anymore. Like in the year that I was like really grinding on growing and everything, I was really into just like tracking everything, trying to figure out like what was hitting, like what people wanted to see. At this point, like I still do keep track of it, but I focus more on just putting out the content that I want to do, and like making things how I want. Obviously, like keeping in touch with
Making
what
them
the
how you
followers wanna
want,
see, right?
But still scratching that itch.
like I try not to focus on the numbers.
Well, that's my next question. What's your expectation though? I mean, if you're a content creator and you put something out, you have to have some sort of a hope,
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to not have that hope anymore. Like, obviously, like for a while there, I was like, man, if this doesn't hit, what am I doing wrong? Or like I post a video and it gets like 40,000 views, which is great. Like, like someone once said to me, like, imagine 40,000 people being there watching you while you film that. Like, that'd be insane. So like, I think that's like, again, social media is like, can be this really toxic space.
Toxic.
So like, I try not to think about those numbers or anything, and just like kind of leave your brain out of that. And I feel like, honestly, like your content does better when you're not thinking about that kind of stuff. Cause like you're just putting out stuff that you want to do. And
if it hits,
it hits. And if not, like, oh, well, like, like every song on a CD isn't the biggest hit,
Yeah.
There's always one greatest hit on every album.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, do you listen to the Off Season?
No.
With J. Cole?
No.
J. Cole's new album.
Yeah, I saw it. I haven't listened to
couple
it
of
yet.
good ones. It's all right. But I mean, it's interesting because, for me, I post a photo and, I will delete shit sometimes and repost it 10 minutes later.
Right.
And it makes all the difference.
Right.
And it's like, it's terrible that I feel disgusting whenever I do that.
Right.
But it's like, fuck, like, it's discouraging whenever I post it on there and and 20 minutes goes by and it has 5 likes.
Yeah.
Delete it and then I'll post it again and 20 minutes will fly by and it'll be 30 likes. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know why I I don't know why that affects me, but it's like
Affects everybody, I think.
it does. And I mean, whether people want to admit it or not,
Of course.
it's just interesting to think of it as more of like a, I don't have to do this. I don't have to worry about it because I don't have shit attached to it.
Sure.
But for someone who's doing this as a job now, I mean, I feel like that's like a fair point to, keep in the back of your mind.
I mean, obviously, like some of my videos, like I need them to do well, like, right? Like it's just like,
Yeah.
this is how I'm making a living now.
Like, do those brands give you a number that you have to hit with views, or is it just from like a cumulative of like what they see what your videos do?
Yeah, no, I try not to like work with brands that are like very specific on like needs to hit this, because it's like there's no guarantees with anything.
There are
Like,
brands that do that though.
Yeah, oh yeah. I've never worked with any of them, but some of them have reached out.
Yeah, I just have no idea. Like, I don't even understand how that shit worked. Like, if
Yeah.
they just approach you and was like, "Oh, this needs to hit 500,000 views."
Right. Yeah, it's tough. Like I try just to like, that's why like any brand deals I do, I really try to make it like something that I can like organically just tie in.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like a ad or sponsored post type thing. Cause
Worst.
those are going to do terrible because people are just going to keep swiping. So
People
they're gonna be
know.
like, screw that. You know?
People know 100%.
Yeah. So like I try just to be able to tie it in as naturally as possible, like with the trough and everything like that. It's just like, it's easy. And those seem to do better, and the companies are happy and everybody's happy.
What videos do you do that do? What do you think your most successful videos are? Like what are they?
The eggs
The egg videos?
every time.
That's weird. It's just weird to.
It's crazy, man. Cause at this point too, like they're still hitting.
Yeah.
I just posted one the other day.
Oh, I've seen it.
A couple million views. It's just easy.
I just don't get it. It's
know?
it's weird to think about.
It's like, I don't get
It
it.
got to be like a visual thing almost. Like people see the visual things.
I mean, I've had this conversation with a lot of other like content creator friends of mine that like I talk to like on the daily, and we're all just like, dude, why are you still posting these egg videos? And I'm like, they're still hitting.
Yeah.
And like you would think at some point, like people are going to get sick of them, but
Well, multiple times I've seen like them garbage pages repost your videos
Yeah.
that I've messaged you about and was like, and I see you like, this is my video, take this down.
Yeah.
So how big of a problem has that been?
it's rough. When like obviously like a lot of pages want to like repost a lot of my stuff. Like they're just like that super satisfying type of content, right?
Yeah.
And like it's one thing if like a page will reach out to me and ask if they can repost it, and like I see some sort of like there needs to be a benefit to me. That, like,
Yeah, tag you at least.
Right,
That
like-
fucking video I tagged you in, it said DM for credit.
Right.
And it's like, motherfucker, it's like, where you got the video from.
Yeah, so it's frustrating when like a page like that will just basically use my content to fluff up their page.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, like I'm busting my ass on this stuff and you're just stealing my shit.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating, but it's just like it's hard to honestly keep up with it sometimes because there's just like
A lot of them.
Yeah, hundreds.
Is there any plan of like, is there anything you could do about it really?
Not really. It's tough.
Yeah, I guess not. Like, you're not gonna fucking get a lawyer to be like,
Right.
hey, they posted a video on my Instagram.
Well, and too at this point, like luckily, like obviously like you, but like there's tons of people that like recognize my content and will like even people that I don't even know that will
Yeah.
just message me and be like, hey, just so you know. So it's like a lot of people do like realize it's not their content or whatever, but it's still frustrating.
Are you just getting like DMs and shit all day?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts. Just the amount of people that just are fans or want to buy the pasta or just ask me questions about pasta. It's like literally people. That's what's cool about TikTok is like TikTok is this huge like international thing.
Yeah.
And I have like obviously I have a great audience on Instagram, but on TikTok I have this like huge global audience.
Yeah.
Of like people from all over the world that'll just like message me, and it's like crazy to see the reach of like people like all over the world that are just a fan of what I do. It's just nuts.
Yeah, but it's so cool because it's like, I was talking about, I can't remember who I was talking about it to before, but it's like, I don't know, people this is a reach almost, but it's like nowadays relationships kind of like dissolve easily.
Right.
Whereas back in the day, it's like my dad is friends with like the same people he was friends with back in the
yeah.
day. And it's like, if you think about it, back in the day, they didn't have phones to keep in touch with people.
Yeah.
So they're spending this time together,
Yep.
quality real time. But it's like, if I have a friend who lived back where my parents were and I'm seeing what he's doing just on Instagram, where I could like, scroll up, oh, he got a fucking motorcycle, like he got a dog, something, whatever like that. It's like, it's scratching that itch of me still being kind of attached to him. There's
Right.
still one string attached to him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's weird because, that's what's the blessing and the curse about social media.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's there, but it's almost like a mirage. I mean, there's not really any like quality. You're not spending quality time with people. You're not like, this is all just like a short, abridged version of like how you really feel and what you really want to say.
Right. And it's crazy too, because like people like from around the world, like they like act like they know you. And it's like cool. Like they just like they feel so close to you and feel like they just have this relationship with you that, they can just message you or like, it was cool. Like when I was at Ironborn still, we'd have people come in and it felt like every week that were just fans of mine that wanted to come in and say hi or whatever. It's just crazy that power that it has.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird for sure. It's a cool feeling.
Yeah.
Definitely a cool feeling. I've seen people wearing the Send Nude shirt down the strip.
Yeah.
I was driving. I couldn't get a pic, else I would have probably wrecked into someone, into a biker or something. But so, I mean, back to your scheduling as far as like this content, it's like, I know that you're like planning this shit out a little bit, but it's like, are you to the point now where you're like, you're kind of like scheduling out like ahead of time? Like how far out are you ahead of time? Like, you know
Not
what I mean?
much, to be quite honest. I usually just do things on like a week by week basis.
Yeah.
Like at the start of my week on Mondays, I'll just kind of like look at my calendar, look at my email, see what I have to do that week. Kind of also like schedule in some things that I just want to do, like today, like with this pasta I made here, I was just kind of like, I wanted to make some pasta. So figured out what shapes I wanted to make, what color, film some content out of it too. So now I have this to kind of batch. I made like 6 videos today that I have to like post randomly throughout the week.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then obviously throughout the week, I'll have some other stuff that I'll create, but it's just kind of, I like to use Mondays as just, kind of gearing up for the week, schedule everything out. And then it's just, nothing more than a week though.
I think it's so weird to see, NFL teams, like commenting on your posts, like, when you making one for, Minnesota? And you're just like, what is even happening?
Yeah. It's, when I started out, like really starting to take this whole thing seriously, obviously I knew I had to make money and everything like that and whatever.
Yeah.
And I figured like the brands I'm going to work with are going to be like in the food, like, pot and pan companies or apron companies or knife companies, right? That's what makes sense. Like I'm in the food content creation space. Like that's who I'm going to work with. And then, when the NFL first reached out to me,
like the NFL, or was it a specific team?
No, the NFL. I was like, holy shit. Like that kind of like opened up my eyes. Like, man, maybe I can work with just like companies that aren't food related. Like I was so seamlessly able to just like wear a Steelers jersey while I'm pouring some pasta into a glass pot.
That's what they wanted?
Yeah. Well, no, they were letting me do whatever I want.
Yeah.
But it just had to be with the Steelers jersey.
But like that, I mean, that's it. Like, they're just like, wow.
And it's so like, it's so nuts. Like that made so much sense, right? Like I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm a Steelers fan. Like it was easy. Right. And so that like opened up my eyes. Like I can work with anybody. I can do whatever, and then
That's cool.
Obviously like more stuff with like not only the Steelers, but like all these crazy teams now. And then, the Pens and everything. It's just been, it's been crazy.
It's like, I mean, I'm sure, for someone who really wasn't like expecting things like this, it's just like it's like Willy Wonka's world. Yeah. It's like, you don't know what's going to happen next. Like how it's going
to, man. Like there's a lot of like pinch me moments, like obviously the NFL thing, but just like, I'll be like at night, cause I still like just consume content too. Like I'm just a fan of some of the stuff I see. So like in bed, sometimes I'll just be scrolling through and I'll see a video I like, or like, I'll recognize somebody like a celebrity and I'll just like scroll over and it says follow back. And I'm like, oh shit, this person's following me.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, do you remember, did you ever watch Even Stevens?
Yeah.
Remember, Ren?
Christy Carlson Romano. You already know I remember her.
Yeah. So,
tell me she follows your TikTok.
Yeah. So a couple months ago, I was scrolling through and I found her and I recognized her, right? Cause it's a childhood thing. And, I scrolled over And she doesn't have like a huge following on TikTok or anything.
I was gonna say, what does she even do now?
She just like does mom stuff. And
Okay.
She's still acting and stuff.
Yeah.
But it said follow back, and I was like, oh shit. So I followed her, and then she messaged me. She's like, oh my gosh, we're such huge fans of yours. And I was like, yo,
That is
I'm a fan of you.
ridiculous.
So it's like stuff like that it's just like,
ridiculous.
yeah, it's crazy.
Chrissy Carlson Ramada.
Yeah.
Hey, Chrissy, if you're listening, I'm a big fan as well. I was a big fan of Even Stevens. That's bizarre, dude. I mean, it's cool. I can't even imagine it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's nuts.
I got a small taste of it with this stuff, but
Right.
it's just fun to be, to be successful in like something that you're passionate about.
It's just crazy when you put yourself out there, what can happen, when you least expect it, and just not being afraid to do it. Like,
Yeah, scared money don't make money. That's
right.
what it is.
That's it.
That's all it is.
crazy.
So I mean, we're to the point now where you're hustling pasta and content out of your house.
yeah.
I mean, like, what are your goals besides for being a content creator? Obviously, like that's dope and everything like that.
Yeah.
But I know that you're working on Peter's Pasta. You got this merchandise.
Yeah.
Like what's the goal with all this?
I mean, the big thing right now that I'm focused on is basically getting out of the house.
Yeah.
Right. Like, cause right now I'm doing all the pasta out of the house. I basically have like a studio built in my house now where I like film everything. So it's like, I've got all this crazy commercial pasta equipment. I got all these crazy studio lights, backdrops, everything. So like my wife
Taking up a
hates
lot
me.
of your space.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
Like, I got shit everywhere. I got my son like rolling around, rolling into
Cords.
things. And, yeah, so it's just like, it's crazy. Our house has turned into this like crazy production kitchen studio thing. So
She's understanding though, I'm sure.
yeah, oh, absolutely. And she's great. She helps me out a ton. But
Yeah, she's probably like, this is fucking wild.
yeah, at the same time, it's like, we got to get this shit out so we can have like our living space.
A
and that
life.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically just working on like trying to find like a commercial kitchen spot where I can produce and then be able to sell out of that,
Yeah.
Because right now I can't sell stuff technically out of the house.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, I didn't know that though. I didn't know that. I just found that out through the broth monger.
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
fucking threw a wrench in her system.
I know.
Fucking haters.
I know.
I guess I didn't understand that. That's something that people don't, even think about.
There's like ways to get like special permits and stuff, but it's
Yeah.
like, then you got to get your house inspected.
Yeah.
It's
So
like-
why even do that? And just
Right.
level it up one more bit.
Right. So to get a commercial kitchen will be huge. And then I want to open up a retail shop here in the city.
How will that work? Like, are you going to be selling like ideally, are you going to have this fresh pasta like this
Yep.
in fridges?
Yeah,
Are you
so-
going to sell dry pasta too?
Yeah. The plan is to sell fresh and dried, as well as like, containers of different sauces and all that kind of stuff, all your
Yeah.
things that you need, but nothing cooked. And I don't really want to do any more like restaurant stuff. I just want to have that retail thing of just selling, fresh and dried pastas.
Yeah.
And then eventually, like the big goal is to go retail nationwide, and also to do like direct to consumer shipping. Just because I have the demand of people that want to buy my pasta all across the country.
Yeah.
so
Just
like,
through your DMs, I'm sure people are reaching out to you.
I'm trying right now to set everything up to basically bring the supply to that demand. While it's there, might as well take advantage.
Do you think? I mean, I assume that you can't ship this without having a refrigerated box, right?
No, but once I do dry,
Yeah,
what
dry
I
you'll
should-
be able to, right?
Right. Yeah.
Now, I mean, have you sold shit through to people? Have you sent it out anywhere?
Not yet.
Not yet. Huh?
No, I haven't done any drying yet, just because.
What's that process like?
Well, I'm going to need to get a dryer, a pasta dryer.
Oh,
Just,
okay.
just controlled everything. Just
Is
because,
it like a dehumidifier?
kind of, yeah. Just because, like, there's some regions in the world that pasta can be dried at room temperature, just because it's like the perfect climate. But obviously, Pittsburgh is not that.
One day it's fucking hot. One day it's cold.
Yeah, so
Had a monsoon earlier today.
right. Once I get that machine or that piece of equipment, then I can start playing around with, because there's basically two different ways that you can dry pasta. It's either high temperature for a very short amount of time, or low temperature for a longer period of time. I'll do the lower temperature for
Slow and
a
low.
couple days. Yeah, like all the big companies, they're all high temp just because they're just banging out shit,
Yeah.
But the lower temperature is a higher quality, so that's what I'll kind of focus on. And then that's the plan. It's just to kind of shake up the pasta aisle in grocery stores. Like we go down the grocery store aisles, and it's always just the same couple brands that we all always see. It's just the same shit.
Been there since before I was born.
Right, same shapes.
The red and blue box. I don't
it.
remember that. And the other blue box.
That's it.
Those are the only two that we've ever got.
Right. So, honestly, like when I linked up with the guys from Truff Hot Sauce, have very similar like ideals and everything. Of what they wanted to do with hot sauce was to kind of shake up the hot sauce aisle. It was the same hot sauces they were always seeing.
Where are they at?
They're based in LA.
LA.
Yeah. And so they just kind of like gave this new fun, like fresh approach to hot sauce. And that's kind of, the same thing I'm thinking with pasta, just kind of, have this new brand in there that's, fun shapes, fun colors, just something new that's
Yeah.
a little bit different.
I see you've been doing wild shit, adding in that truff sauce, adding in, I think you had ketchup in the one.
Yeah, we've done, that's all of that stuff mainly. It's just for like content purposes, just like, that's what people wanted to see. Like I had a series of just like people telling me what they want to see in a batch of pasta, and like top comment wins,
I was out there, I was out in Rehoboth, and they made buffalo mac and cheese. So in the noodles, they were homemade noodles.
Oh, yeah?
There was buffalo sauce in them. And
Where'd you go?
Rehoboth Ale House.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just mac and cheese that had buffalo noodles in it.
Yeah.
And it tasted good. But I never seen that before. The shit that you did. And once I saw that, we were talking about. They were like, they'd probably boil it in hot sauce, and I was like, nah. I was like, I'll tell you exactly how. The only reason I knew is because of the shit that you do.
Yeah.
I was like, you probably add it in before whenever you're making the dough, and then they do it.
Right.
But you could definitely taste it. It was cool
When I added the truff, to be honest, I didn't think I was going to be able to taste it, but you taste it. Like it comes through.
Yeah, a little extra
little
seasoning.
Kick.
Yeah, a little kick. What's that extruder brand?
Arco Bolaño.
Arco Bolaño. So like, was that something that like, the TikTok fame brought you to, being able to go tour their shit?
No, I mean, I've always, in most of the restaurants I've worked at where there's ever been pasta made, it's always been Arco Bolaño. I've always worked with that company, or with their products.
Yeah.
So I've always been familiar with them. And just them being in Lancaster, like they're local here. I mean, I'm from like 20 minutes from where their headquarters is.
Where'd you grow up?
Reading.
Yeah.
So, and like, they're just like a really cool, just like family owned company.
Is it a big company?
Nah, very small. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Real small. And so kind of as things were blowing up and everything, I really started to build this relationship with them, and was able to go out there, tour there, and just get to know them better. It's just like a really great relationship we have. It's just like, it's almost like friends, they're just,
that's super cool.
Yeah.
That's those are cool opportunities that like,
Right.
Not everyone really gets to see.
Yeah.
It's like going to tour Turners and go do all that shit. It's like, I'm just like, I can't even believe that this is even happening.
Right.
But it's cool to see, it's cool to see success.
Yeah.
Now, do you give yourself time off for social media, or because I see that you have your notifications on.
Yeah.
Like I said, we were talking for 40 minutes. Your phone did not stop lighting up.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised I don't see a battery case on your phone.
Yeah.
One of the ones that charge it back up. I'm sure your phone dies quick.
Yeah. Especially because like half the time I forgot to charge it.
Do you get anxiety whenever your phone dies?
No, I don't. Surprisingly, I should probably.
Because I do.
Yeah, I don't. But it's tough to take a break from it,
Do you think that there'll be a time where you turn off notifications?
I've thought about it. I think about it a lot. It's just tough.
Now, I'm curious about this. I'm genuinely curious about this. Are they still on because you're like, this is still like, I don't know, would you call it like the honeymoon phase almost still, where you're just like, I'm in this, like I'm a content creator, like this is it. I need to be in touch with this at all times. Do you think eventually once, not the shine of all this, not wears off, so to speak, but once you're like more used to it, do you think that will be turned off?
I think it'll be easier to do it. It's just tough now because like I still feel like I'm in the middle of this like crazy boom. Like I don't feel like I'm at the peak or anything yet. So I feel like I'm still trying to just like put everything I can into this, and like.
But you're not wrong,
right?
I don't think you're wrong at all.
It's tough, man. Like,
what's the number though? I mean, like, what's the magic number? Do you think you'll have one?
I don't know.
Or is it that tale as old as time? It's like you can never have enough money. You could never have enough followers. Once you get 1 million, you got to get 10 million.
I mean, it's definitely where I'm at now. And it's not even like a number standpoint. It's just like, I do feel more comfortable. Like if I leave my phone at home, and I go to the grocery store, it's easier. Like I don't feel that anxiety to keep checking or whatever,
Yeah, that's interesting.
but it's still like I still spend a ton of time like managing all that stuff every day. Like,
Yeah.
it's
It's a job. I mean, you have to put
it's
time
a job,
into
but
it.
it's a fine line of like when is enough, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, just from personal experience, like I said, the podcast is a small potatoes compared to what you do, but it's like, you know, this has caused, you know, I'm pointing at my phone for people that are listening. This has caused fights between me and my wife for sure.
Telling me.
I mean, and people understand,
Yeah.
people know that, like, you know, that's why I asked you in the beginning, like, how do you separate it from what you need to do? But it's like, in the beginning of doing this podcast, I personally felt like I always had to have, you know, if someone messages me, got to
Yeah.
get back to him right away. If someone
Yeah.
comments, got to get back to him right away. Just because it's like, oh, I'm so grateful that people are here. I want
Yeah.
them to stay.
Yeah.
You know, that was my mindset about it. And it's not that I'm not grateful now, but like last week, whenever I was on vacation, I stayed away from it as much as I could.
Right.
And I've noticed myself, you know, kind of changing as far as, you know, 3 years ago, whenever I started, how much I was on my phone and how I felt like I needed to be there all the time. And it's just easier for me to like kind of like be away from it.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like, you know, sometimes it does a disservice to me because I could definitely be more active and be posting more content.
Right.
But it's almost like, you know,
Well, that's the thing. Everybody, you could always be doing more. And
Always.
then you just keep getting deeper and deeper into it.
yeah, it is. It's quicksand, dude. And that's where the toxic trait of it comes
Yeah.
out with all the good things about it. You know, it's like venom, you know, it's
scary.
it is scary, but I mean, it's fun. I feel like, you know, you got a good balance going.
Right.
I like all the stuff that you're like putting out. It's fun to watch. It's interesting. Even for someone who's, you know, the only thing I really know about pasta is I like eating it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I never knew anything before that, but it's
Right.
cool because, you know, you're educating people, even as simple as, you know, a video with a dope ass song. It's like people
Right.
don't understand how shit is made. It's cool to just see how that is.
Yeah.
I like it. I think you're well on your way. It's 10 million.
We'll see.
What is I mean, so what's all this shit with before we get into the ending segment, I'm curious about this. The main reason that I was never on TikTok is I heard all this scary shit about it, you know.
Scary.
Getting on your people tracking you and everything like that. I remember that all on the news and everything, but it's like, one, I'm not fucking Pablo Escobar. I'm not slinging cocaine to people. So I don't give a shit if people know I'm going to fucking Starbucks every day.
Right.
But what was like the negative about TikTok? Like, weren't they shutting it down or something?
Yeah, they were trying that. It was just like it wasn't owned by the US. So there was rumors of people stealing your information and stuff. And it's just like,
Whatever, bro.
I was just like, I've got a phone. If people want my information, they're going to get it. You
The
know,
psychopaths who think that if they have this phone, that if it's not already happening,
Right.
you're tripping.
I've sold everything away at this
You know
point,
what I
I'm
mean?
sure. You know, it's
Wild.
A video of flour and eggs isn't going to be the password to get all my information. You know?
Password. That's your password. Spaghetti.
Yeah.
Spaghetti. It's a spaghetti.
Right.
Yeah, but it's so like what? So what happens if something like TikTok's just? What if it just shuts down tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, everybody obviously when there was all the rumors of it, you know, going away, everybody freaked out.
When was the? Because I was trying to think about that today. When was that rumor?
It's probably about a year ago.
Because I remember people were saying like, because I have a buddy who was like, he does like plays kendama and shit on TikTok, and he was all about it, like telling everyone like, this is the shit, you got to get on there, and we were all making fun of him, like, yeah, your shit's getting all twisted in there, but. You know, for people that are like making, like this is right now, this is your living.
Yeah.
You know, what happens if it just shuts down?
Well, I mean, that's why I think everyone, like all these creators now are trying to just like diversify through different platforms, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, Triller, everything. There's like, put your content everywhere.
Clubhouse.
Yeah. Everything. It's like nuts. Like, that's why, like I tell like creators that are just trying, like starting out, like
Just do it.
well, end that and just like film your shit raw and then post it on every platform.
Yeah.
Like build your following everywhere. And too, like all these platforms, most of them like pay. Most of them pay a lot better than TikTok. So like get on everywhere and just like see where it hits. That way, like if one of them goes down, you have all these other like options.
Now, for you to like, obviously TikTok is your main focus right now.
Yeah.
What do you like, do you notice yourself like kind of staying like not being as active on Instagram, or are you like conscious about, you know, both of them?
No, if anything, I'm actually more focused on Instagram probably.
Pump your
right now.
numbers up on there too.
Yeah, like I have the following that I built now on TikTok. So now, like if anything, I'm taking a step back from TikTok and focusing more on Instagram and YouTube on like really like putting my name out there on those platforms.
What are you at YouTube right now?
Nothing. I just started.
How many subscribers you have right now?
Like 100.
Okay, so it is June 14th, 100. It'll be a good way to.
That's right.
It'll
Next
be a
time we
good
talk,
way.
we'll see where we're at.
fucking
I'll
a
be at
million
like
subscribers.
150.
Yeah, you're just 150. Yeah, I mean, I guess TikTok's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel right now because anything you're going to put, people like it. Obviously,
Yeah, it's just easy. So it's like it's nice to have these new challenges of like when I posted my first thing on YouTube, it got like 300 views, and I was like, hell yeah, this is sick. This is the grind. This is it. We're back.
Now, for you to be on Instagram, what do you at, like 30,000 followers now?
On Instagram?
Yeah.
I think 45,000.
Sorry.
Close to 50. We're close.
We're getting there to 50.
Yeah.
I mean, like, is your approach different with that? Like, do you study like what is?
No, it's honestly, it's just kind of like, I kind of have the same content mind frame for Instagram as I do for TikTok. I'm just kind of showing a different side of me, kind of, doing more personal things, like incorporating my son and just putting myself out there more.
Do you notice people reacting to that positively more?
It is now. It's funny when my son was born and I posted like the photo of him, like many people do when they have a newborn kid, just like, that first shot, that day or that week or whatever, I lost like 100 or 200 followers. And I'm like, fuck, I can't even post a picture of my kid. Like, you want to see this pasta,
dude? It's
but it's whatever. I didn't want those people to
crazy
follow me
out
anyway,
there,
But now it is cool that like people do want to see that kind of stuff. So, and again, like it just like it strengthens my brand even more, just because it's not just this food content. Now there's a person behind it, and
well, that's what I was talking to that Wake Up PGH. It's like I was like, I didn't even know his name before he came to the house.
Yeah,
I had no idea who he was, and I was like, you don't have anything on your profile posted of you.
Yeah.
I was like, I had no idea what to think of you, and he was like, yeah, I mean, because he was just someone who wasn't on social media, so I was like, from a spectator's point of view, I want to know who it is, because like if you just have a page with just like pictures of food, it almost feels like generic to the point where you could hire a bunch of like
it feels like one of those
people.
like food media pages that just post really gorgeous food.
Yeah, and they have 8 people that are just posting all throughout the day, but it's like I want to know the people that are doing this because like I don't know, it just makes it easier to get more attached to it, I guess, and to just. It makes it personified. Is that the right
It just
word?
feels more authentic. Like it's a real person behind.
Exactly.
Posting it. It's not just somebody sitting at a computer that just.
That's what I told him. That's what I said. I was like, exactly. Put your face on there one time.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to know who you were.
Right.
But he was like, yeah, that makes sense. But
I was talking to him the other day. I shot him a message. I had never heard of him, but I listened to the pod and shit looks fire. And I was like, yo, man, you got to get on TikTok.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
I was like, because I was talking about that. I was like, what do you have other, like, are you getting, more active on things? And he's just, he even says it on here. He's like, I'm just kind of feeling it out right now. But it's cool to see how, because it's so weird because I've always been someone who's just been on social media. You know what I mean? Always from the beginning, like MySpace, everything. So it's like interesting to hear how someone who just never was into it just kind of wanted to jump into it, because it's scary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's so many people doing it. And I mean, I don't know. It's just, it's a wild ride for everyone.
Yeah.
Weird shit happens.
If anything, it's harder. It's more scary now just because, like you said, everybody is doing it. Like it's so hard to just even put yourself out there, and then you do, and like you get nothing in return. It's like, fuck, like why am I even doing this? But I don't know.
We're just out here grinding.
That's it.
You know what I mean? It's just a grind.
That's it.
So again, 100 subscribers, June 14th. It'll be interesting. Maybe in another year when we get you back on here, we'll be up there and see how that's going. All right. Anything I missed with the pasta? You have any idea how people could get? I mean, can people get this stuff yet, or is this still?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I always tell people like in Pittsburgh, if you want pasta, just shoot me a DM. Like I'll give you pasta.
Yeah.
Like I've got it. I've always got tons of it, and I'm just giving it out. So
maybe we'll do a giveaway on here or something.
Yeah, we can do the giveaway.
A couple bags of pasta.
Let's do it.
A podcast shirt and a mug.
We'll send nudes shirt.
Yeah. We'll get this all going.
Let's do it.
That'll happen. All right, so let's get to the ending segment of the podcast. So, the ending segment of the podcast is a segment called Desert Island Questions. I give each guest 3 categories to take with them on a desert island to use until they starve to death and die. First category, 3 movies.
I don't know why I just thought of this, but Happy Gilmore.
Great.
That's a good one.
It's a great one.
Trying to think, make sure I don't say stuff that I said last time.
I don't even remember.
You ever see Due Date?
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
Due Date was is that with Dane Cook? No.
It's Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis.
Zach Galifianakis when they're riding in the car. He has the ashes in the can. Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
It's a great movie.
Man, it's been a while since I've seen that.
It's a good movie.
I'm going to have to watch that again.
Yeah. And then third, I know I said it last time, but I got to put Rocky IV up there again.
All right. I mean, you can't hate on Rocky IV. No. Rocky's great. I'm wearing a fucking Mike Tyson shirt.
I love it.
Mike Tyson. He's an animal. Sylvester Stallone. I swore I just read something online that they're making another Rocky.
Another one in a wheelchair or something.
Can't happen.
Dude's like,
maybe he's going to be like the trainer or something like that.
Yeah.
But I swear it said it on Reddit somewhere, and I was like, I'm tapping out on that one.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
It's too much.
Yeah, it's way too much. Old ass people like the Fast and the Furious that they're coming out with now.
Right.
They're about to be in space.
Yeah, I don't get it.
They need to just be done with it.
It's too much.
Next week, I'm talking to the guy who runs True Believer Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
And I just asked him today, I said, what's your drink of choice? And he was like, he said, what did he say? Something about it. He was like, you could have any brew you want as long as it's a Corona. And he was like, I'll probably drink a few. And then he was like, that's a Fast and the Furious reference. And I was like, we're going to be good friends. I was like, I loved it in the beginning.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Okay, so second category, I usually ask people 3 books, but I'm more curious I have 2 different questions. So people want to know the best place in the city that you've had pasta or that you've had Italian food that you like.
Yeah. In no specific order, I'm going to go with Bar Marco.
I've never been there.
Fantastic. Really great stuff. Dianoia's.
Yeah, amazing.
Always solid.
Yeah.
And then Stagioni in the South Side.
Stagioni.
Yeah. They might not even be open anymore.
I don't even know if I've ever even heard of that.
I hope they are.
Where are they at?
They're on right on East Carson.
I don't know.
They're I'm trying to think what they're near. I don't know.
Stagioni, look it up.
They're great.
Okay, and then the other one I know, or the other question that I had, if you had to pick 3 sauces that you want. You already said pesto, bolognese. Yep. That was the sauce I wanted to know. If you had to pick another one, though.
Probably go with a vodka sauce. It's great.
Yeah, that was a question that people wanted to know, and I was curious about too.
Yeah, I've been making it a ton lately. Some vodka sauce with like some baked rigatoni can't beat it.
I saw you posted up another lasagna the other day.
Yeah,
that's some good
I've
shit.
Been slinging some of those.
Let me make sure that I got all the rest of them. So we got favorite place to eat Italian in the city. Oh, here it is. This was a great question. So pasta extruders are fairly easy machines to learn. They make larger batches in way less of amount of time. Do you prefer to keep using the extruder, or do more fun and different pastas by hand? I thought that was a great question.
That is a great question. It's a tough answer just because I like doing both, because there's a lot you can do with an extruder of like adding in different ingredients and stuff. It's just like, and there's all these different shapes and all these different things, but at the same time, like, I like just doing everything by hand. It just, it's
beauty to both of them.
Yeah. It's, some days I wake up and I don't want to touch the extruder. Some other days it's like, that's all I want to do. So it's kind of like, it's split,
How do you clean that thing?
The extruder?
Yeah. Do you have to run things through the top part?
Nah. So like the two main pieces come out. And then everything else just pretty much like it's just flour and water, so it's pretty easy to clean.
It's I bought a coffee grinder and and I've been looking on how to clean that, and they say never to put water in there.
Right, that's the same thing.
Just to put rice, uncooked rice in there, and I thought that was bizarre. I didn't know if there was some sort of weird shit. Yeah, least favorite pasta?
Angel hair.
Angel hair. Why?
It's fucking gross.
See, that used to be my shit back in the day. I used to love an angel hair pasta. My aunt used to make it with some ragu, and that was my shit back in the day. But what's gross about it?
Everything.
But what?
You can get me fired up. I get into this conversation a lot.
He just corrected his posture.
I just went back to my culinary school to speak to the current class of students last week, and I got into this big debate. Like, it's fucking gross. There's no point of it. There's so many other great shapes. Why are we all eating angel hair? Throw it away.
But what's you eat regular spaghetti?
Yeah, that's so much better than angel hair. It's
Why?
Thicker. Why? What do you mean why? It's thicker. Why not have the thicker, more delicious shape?
I guess
Versus
that's a
the
fair
angel
point.
hair, it's just cooked as shit. It's gross. It deserves no.
So whenever he's so flustered, whenever I started to have these different pasta shapes, I started to notice that they hold sauce better.
Yeah,
different pasta shapes hold sauce better, and I never appreciated that before.
Yeah, these the extruded pastas too, like they really have like really great texture on them when they're made properly. That just really grabs that sauce like you wouldn't believe.
Best bottled sauce.
Ooh, I feel obligated to say Truff. Their pasta sauce is fantastic.
They're in your pocket. I want to know something else.
Rayos is real good.
Never even heard of it.
You never heard of Rayos?
I mean, I've probably seen the label.
You've seen it. It's classic.
I might have.
Classic.
I was a ragu. We were a ragu household.
Ragu with angel hair.
Yeah,
boy.
ragu household. We were playing Jane, baby. Turner's in the cup. Turner's milk if you were getting Turner's milk on the regular. Okay. Yeah. Oh, why do some recipes call for pasta water?
Most do, and they should if they don't. Just because, like, one, you have all that like really good starch that's
that's what it is,
off
right?
Into the water, yeah. So that's just gonna like give your sauce body. It's gonna give it just this it's gonna bring everything together.
A little bit thicker.
Yeah, that's why they're like a lot of like pasta makers just like don't get rid of that pasta water. Save it. Like you're gonna be able to adjust your sauce with it. It really can just like change the sauce.
It does make it levels it up. And the only reason I started doing that is because I usually get HelloFresh meals.
Yeah.
We just get them delivered and you're cooking,
Right.
even though they're sending you dishes. I'm in that kitchen cooking it.
Yeah.
And I never really understood, the reason behind it, but I noticed that it was always better.
Yeah.
Definitely was. And whenever I would pour it out and forget, my wife would be pissed. And she had a reason to because
Right,
it came out not as good.
Yeah.
Okay, if you and Chef Boyardee fought to the death, who would win?
I'm taking the dub.
Yeah, I think so too. And then the other one was mushy or al dente. And we already know what's, the people that are into the al dente, they're not getting good pasta.
Right.
It's not the right shit.
Right.
Not homemade like the 3 bags that I have here. But okay, so third category, 3 CDs.
Ooh. Graduation. I'm trying to think what I've been listening to lately. I've been listening to a lot of Drake lately.
Killer.
Yeah. I might take his greatest hits.
Yeah.
I listen to him a lot when I make pasta.
Just a vibe.
Yeah, it's just chill.
Bouncy.
It's just chill.
You're just enjoying it.
Yeah, I can zone out.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take Drake. And then something, I don't know. Let's do we'll throw in a curveball. We'll do Jimmy Buffett, greatest hits.
Jimmy Buffett. That's a curveball for
It's
sure.
summertime. We're chilling.
Summertime is chilling. It's
Yeah.
got some flip flops on.
Yeah.
Pop a top. The one thing I do notice about watching, I usually hate watching people with live videos,
Yeah.
but I like watching yours. You play good music.
Yeah.
Try
to have fun.
Yeah, you got a good taste in music. I usually enjoy whatever is on whenever you're playing.
Yeah, it's usually always like some crazy rap or just some like chill R&B.
Tracy Chapman, Fast
Yeah,
Car.
you can't beat
Get
it.
it.
You can't beat
Come
it.
on.
You can't beat
How about
it,
a kid
man.
from my high school just made a huge post on, he's a musician.
Yeah.
And he's pretty good at it. But he just made a huge post about how Tracy Chapman, Fast Car is one of the worst songs of all time. And I read he had about 40 comments on there.
Yeah.
And just didn't get anything from it. I was just like, I'm done with you now.
Yeah, it sucks.
Okay, so those were good choices. All right, third to last question. Death Row meal.
Like the sound effect.
You like that?
Yeah, that's new.
Cue the Undertaker. That is new.
Yeah.
If you had to, you're about to get put to death, like, what are you having?
Yeah.
I need, now this is also new. I used to give people, free reign.
Yeah.
I need to know at least one appetizer.
Okay.
At least one main dish and at least one dessert.
Okay. Appetizer. I'm gonna go bloomin' onion.
Can't beat a bloomin' onion.
But that's like perfect for death row because every time after I eat it, I feel like shit.
Death.
It's so greasy.
Yeah, that's we got one probably, it was after the pandemic ended. Me and my parents and my wife went out to dinner.
Yeah.
And we got a bloomin' onion, and I felt like
You feel
absolute
like
shit.
Yeah.
Absolute
That's
shit.
got to be death row. It's
Okay,
perfect
that's
for it.
good.
So that's the appetizer. The entree. I know everybody. I feel like everybody always says it, but I just want a good steak. I want steakhouse. Yeah, I want a nice steak. Like baked, like a loaded baked potato, right? Maybe some green beans.
I used to hate baked potatoes, but
Really?
I used to
Why?
hate a baked potato. I think the skins.
Yeah.
I was just never a big fan of the skins, and I don't know. Maybe it's just because like I don't know. They were just like overdone in my house all the time. We just had them with almost like every meal. A couple potatoes in the microwave.
It's easy, yeah.
It's easy, but I've been falling in love with them more and more.
Real good. Yeah, so that's the entree, and then dessert. I'll just take some chocolate chip cookies.
Chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, fresh out of the oven.
That's good.
With a big old glass of milk.
Okay. So another throwing question: what is the worst thing that you cook? Like, what are you the worst at?
That's a question for my wife. Good thing she's not here.
Yeah. Like, I can never cook a salmon.
I mean, there's probably a lot of shit that I suck at, to be honest. I'll tell you the worst dish that I make.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's bad. Everyone's going to make fun of me for this. My wife hates it. It's kind of fucking gross, to be honest.
What is
Especially me as like a pasta chef. I grew up eating it. You take the boxed like shell pasta, right? Cook it. And then you strain it and then pour it into a pot with a can of crushed tomatoes and like 30 slices of white American cheese.
Oh my God.
And that's it.
I feel like I just heard like Eminem start playing in the background. It's like that just sounds like the most like.
No, it's great, man. But my wife everybody hates it, but it's great. Don't eat it. I wouldn't recommend it.
I would try, but it does not sound appetizing at all.
Yeah, maybe a little nutmeg too, a little chef's kiss.
Nutmeg in there. All right. So second to last question. I used to do the Turner's Crate, but I lost a lot of the questions in the move. I'm gonna have to get back on that. But if you were about to go on a road trip, and you had to go into a gas station, you can only pick one snack.
Ooh, that's tough.
It's a tough one.
Because I'm torn. I'm torn between a Twix and a bag of Cheetos, but I'd probably go with the Cheetos.
Crunchy or puffed?
Crunchy.
If you would have said puffed, I would have said wimp, like Ed O'Neill from Little Giants. Or like crunchy or puffed. Man, Little Giants. Okay, and the last question is: if you could have a conversation, anyone live or dead, who would it be and why?
This is going to be a weird answer. I don't know if you'll accept it, because I don't know this person. It's not like a specific person, but it would be with like. I'd want to go to Italy and like speak with like one of these old like grannies that's just been making pasta for like 70 years.
Yeah.
That's just all she does is just like one shape, one piece at a time.
Yep.
And just like,
I love that.
I don't even speak Italian, but I just want to like, soak in all that knowledge and like
just to see how she
spend a
does
day
it
with her. Right. Yeah. That'd be just like so valuable,
I like that.
Yeah. So if anybody has one of those people.
That's a really good answer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fitting for you, I would feel.
Right.
Did you see previews for Roadrunner?
No.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
It looks pretty wild.
I need to check it out.
I think that might have been your answer last time. Maybe Bourdain, was it?
It may have been Bourdain.
I can't remember, but I saw a preview recently.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
I heard.
Okay. I mean, as always, it's a fun time talking to you on here.
Always.
Take a second, plug all your shit to your to my couple thousand followers. Plug your millions of followers.
Yeah, no. On TikTok is Peters Pasta. Instagram is still Ryan Peters PGH. Everything else is going to be Peters Pasta. YouTube, all that stuff. Facebook.
Why isn't
Snapchat.
Instagram Peters Pasta?
I thought about changing it, but I don't know. See now.
You got to do it. You can't just have one that's different.
I go back and forth on this.
Come on. Can't have one that's different.
That's why it's taken. Yeah, it's this place in the UK, I think. I thought about reaching out to buy it from them. They're like a business.
Yeah, until they Google you and see your 2 million follower TikTok, they're going to be like, slide me a check.
If I get Peter's Pasta on Instagram, I want it to just be like
Yeah.
no underscores, no all that stuff. That's too complicated. So
Yeah.
we'll work on that.
We'll work on it next time for
right.
next year. Next year, it's going to be Peter's Pasta
I
on
hope.
Instagram
I
as
hope.
well.
Right.
So everyone that's listening, tag them and tell them to give it up. Yeah, dude, I appreciate it as
Yeah, man.
usual.
Appreciate you.
This is exciting. I'm glad that
Absolutely.
you can make some time for
thank
me.
you. Of course.
I'm excited to eat this pasta. Everyone else that's listening, you heard him. He got enough pasta to go around. Slide in. We're going to do a giveaway, hopefully. And then, follow us both. Ryan Peters PGH on Instagram, Peters Pasta on TikTok and everywhere else. I'll call you right back on Instagram and everywhere else. You know where to find it. Every week, good guests doing good things. Look, we got a famous TikToker this week. But I appreciate everyone listening, and I'll call you right back.